By a large seabird, which resulted in this disfiguration of my skull. I apologize for any inconvenience or awkwardness that this causes to you if you're afraid of large seabirds. Clearly this man is not. Let's give him a round of applause.
I'll take out an albatross.
I haven't worn this for like 2 years, and I'm known for wearing weird hats, so I thought I should start, in a big way with all of these awesome new staff we have. And I wanted to give you a little lunchtime presentation. I would like to not wear a mask if that is okay, if I'm over here. Is that okay? Everybody here? If you say no, if you actually think no, because it's important that you don't feel strong-armed by the boss. What are you doing?
You told me to do it.
Oh my gosh.
We're already fighting in public. I was carefully trained. Yeah.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Any sweats or chills?
What's that? I can't understand.
Gavin wants to know if you're sweaty.
I wanted to show that I've been prepared for this meeting by welcoming the new people. I believe you are Cristobal, right?
Christy.
And where is there some? Joaquin? No? What is Jacob? So close. Mandalay?
Yes.
Oh. And Briani. Cool. Well, welcome everybody. I'm glad to have you here. I just want to talk a little today about quality work, because that's the top line of our slogan and our company culture stuff. And I'm assuming, I've heard that the pole barn has been filled to the gills with every tool that we have. So it seems like an appropriate topic. And somehow you guys this afternoon are gonna put the puzzle back together. So that's pretty exciting to see what's gonna happen. So I guess I wanted to start with what does quality work mean? I obviously have an idea. I'm gonna talk about it now, but I wanted to hear from some of you guys what you think it might be.
Craftsmanship.
Craftsmanship? Cool, agree with that. Feel free to pan to the audience if they're answering a question.
Doing your best.
Anybody else? Oh, Shannon,
Doing your best.
doing your best?
Attention to detail.
Like that. Attention to detail.
Intentional.
Intentional. Nice. Agree.
Lasting.
Fasting?
Lasting. Like it lasts.
Oh, last. Yeah, it's true.
Meets the standards.
Huh?
Meets the standards.
Meets the standards. Excellent point.
Right, yeah.
I'm deaf, by the way. You might have noticed that. Okay, so I think those are all excellent answers, and I agree actually with all of them, except I am a little bit of an anarchist, so maybe not meets the standards part, but actually it's true. So I give you credit. It's true. If the standards have been set properly, right? For me, I wanted to hit on before what quality work is what the myth of work in our culture is, which we're fighting against actually, which is that there's kind of a myth that work is bad, right? That we live for the weekend, that we want to be on vacation, that having to show up at 7 o'clock in the morning sucks, right? All of these are the myth of work that our culture somehow, has inculcated into us from a very young age. Probably, watching Saturday morning cartoons is pretty awesome, and you're just sitting there watching them, so there's not a lot of hard work involved. But I do think that here at Lotus, we counter that myth really strongly with an idea that you can actually love your work and feel really passionate about it and enjoy it. So that would be my first thing about quality work. Quality work really needs to be something that you're fully engaged in and you enjoy. So the work myth, less is better, you're waiting for the weekend, all of that stuff is not what we want to embody here at Lotus. And it undermines that love of work. So we want to figure out ways to build our love of work. So why do we do this? For me, as a sculptor and an artist and a landscaper, and from a young age, that all tied together for me. I grew up in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. My father had a business building stairs over the dunes for the rich people that owned houses on the shore, which were going to disappear soon. Some of them have to move their houses backwards. His business was called Oroco, which was erosion control. So anyways, I learned from my dad what it meant to work hard. And we were out there in the summer, in the hot sun, building these things while other people were frolicking around on the beach, So I got to learn that at an early age. And for me, that built in me the love of like creating things. So I kind of took that into being an artist. I still am an artist. Actually, I made that albatross hat. So that's a piece of sculpture I made. And having a love of creation is really important. So then I was thinking, well, like I've also worked, right? Like I've had jobs. Most of my life I've had my own business, but one of my first jobs I had would probably be, you'd be able to call it a terrible job, So that job, one of my best friend's family owned a lobster restaurant on Cape Cod, and I got the job as the takeout lobster cook, which basically meant I had 3 giant saltwater cooled aquariums full of live lobsters, and then I had 3 big burners with pots like, the fire pit isn't, pots like from the floor to here like that big, like giant boiling aluminum pots of water. And then people would come in and they'd pick their lobsters. So then I'd like put their specific lobsters in a crate, and then they'd tell me when they wanted them ready. And so I had to cook these. I mean, I will say I'm also a Buddhist. I like to talk about my religion. It's important to me. This was a terrible job to have being a Buddhist. But at the time I didn't know I was a Buddhist. And so I was like killing thousands of beings like by boiling them alive, which I don't recommend. So it is a terrible job. On some levels, truly a terrible job. But it was a challenge. So, and if I did it really well, I would get cash from these people because they were getting their like perfectly cooked lobsters at the time they ordered them, And so this would like build up to July 4th, like where it was like a total nightmare scenario where you'd have like, I don't know, 20 or 30 orders of custom cooked, all different sized lobsters that had to be ready at the right time. And if you did it like really well, you would make like a lot of money. And I was like a teenager, so, that cash was important to me. I was a windsurfer. Windsurfing was expensive. I needed to buy my windsurfing equipment. So I had a lot of motivation to like do this terrible job well. And the thing that it taught me that I'm rambling on about is like, I had to be like incredibly efficient and organized. And I'm actually not a particularly well organized person, right? But I had to line these things up and I had to time them. And I had to only the 3 pots, so I had to like stack them in order, like so that they would cook. And you'd have to tag them in the right way so you know which ones were which. And I got like really good at it, like so that I could nail it. And in that July 4th, I'd make like a few $100 extra because I did it really well. So the reason I'm talking about this is even if you had like a terrible, terrible job, which I don't think really exists here. I mean, we have our moments during the mud season, which is starting, and it's still cold and it sucks to like get out there at 7 o'clock and start chipping away at the mud, right? But even a terrible job can be like pretty engaging and exciting and like I have a challenge and fun to it. So just this last weekend I heard one person who's like a mentor of mine who's really important to me talking about speed and accuracy in doing your work and engagement in your work. And so I thought about that a lot. It was a good timing for talking to you guys about it. And for me, I think speed and accuracy, if you're doing a super repetitive job, which I've also done in my past, this job I was talking about is kind of like that, you could get really bored and upset, or you could be like, okay, every time I do this, I'm gonna do it better. I'm gonna figure out the best way to do it. And for whatever reason, that's a little bit like ingrained in me, that mentality. So a lot of what we do is custom. You're not always doing the same thing over and over. I mean, sometimes we are, but so I think in relation to work here, I would use, for speed, I would say engagement, which is like bringing awareness to the task that you're doing and thinking about it and not missing stuff, right? Like, because the more spaced out you are, the more you're not engaged in the actual task you're doing, the more likely you are to make mistakes or miss the point or miss even the instruction of whoever's supervising you that you would want to do. And then for accuracy, I like to put efficiency. So for me, that job taught me the efficiency needed to perform a task like really well. And so as the CEO of this company and somebody that's in charge of talking to you guys about culture and inspiring people and also being out with you doing it, you know, that engagement and efficiency are what I want you guys thinking about. And you know, we're training. It's a great day to be talking about that, because literally getting rid of the old tools that are like broken and dull and not working, getting the right tools in the right spot in your trailers, agreeing about a format so that we all know where the tools are, is this. So it's a great time to like be thinking about this and be doing it. So I hope I inspire you for the rest of the afternoon to engage in this task and be excited to have tool trailers that are actually set up well and have what they need in them, and you know where it is, so that like once we're out there in the next few weeks, like starting to do the work, which we've got a lot of, you know, it's a little easier. So the last thing I wanted to say about that, something that helps with it, is just gaming it. And we talk about that in relation to our numbers and the business and how the business runs. Like, because I also remember that, like, you know, shoveling, like to some degree, a lot of shoveling can be pretty arduous. And I remember actually, like when I first moved here in like 2000 and was working, I'd do the books 1 day a week for this guy Guido